I'm a girl on fire, I'm not a victim. A girl on fire, I'll stand my ground. Girl on fire, I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend. I'm every woman. I have taken up arms and I choose to defend all that.
Lynette Oxley here for Tac Shack Tactical TV and Ghosts and Girls on Fire, 16 Days for Action for No Violence Against Women and Children. I'm here with the beautiful Marna Roets. Thank you very much for joining us today and making time for us.
It's only a pleasure. I'm looking forward to share my story today.
And you're a businesswoman, but that's not what you are. You're a mother, a wife, but what is...
I'm a grandmother.
And a grandmother too. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Tell us, women empowerment is important for you. What brought you to this point?
It's very important to me. For you to understand what brought me to this point in time in my life is I need to tell you a little bit about my story. And my story started way before I was even born. My mum fell pregnant with me after she had left her very abusive policeman husband for my dad. The sad part is that she left the one abusive person for another one. And in the process, when she left her husband, she left also her two kids behind, my half-brother and sister. And
how old were they at that stage?
At that stage, they were, I'm guessing, between 5 and 7.
Okay, so difficult age.
Very difficult age. And then she got together with my dad. And then by the time she realized she wasn't going to get her kids back, she wanted to go back. And but it was too late. She was already pregnant with me. So from the day I was born, I felt unwanted. There was never that bond between my mum and me, although she loved me and I loved her dearly. There was never that bond, and I could not understand it for years. But I could remember her crying. I can still, today, if I close my eyes, I can remember my mum's crying and her longing for her kids, and it took me to have my own child to understand how difficult it must have been for her to be without her kids, to be separated from her children. There was all court fights, and the ex-husband, being a policeman, got the kids in the end. So yeah, she missed them very much.
Did you see them at all?
Well,
Was there visitation?
Yeah, I can remember maybe 3 or 4 times in my life, them as being small kids visiting. And then I remember my sister came to stay with us in the grade. It's grades now. At the time it was done at 7, so that just would be grade 9, high school. She came to stay with us for about 6 months, and then she just wanted to go back home because that's the home she knew all her life.
She grew up,
so it was very difficult for her too at the time. And then my brother came home, and I was the eldest of my, I can always say my dad's kids. I was the eldest. We were 4 kids then. And because my mom had difficulty bonding with us, I was their mother. So I was a grown-up way before it was my time to do grown-up things. And then my eldest brother, my half-brother, came home, and he was so gorgeous. And you know, in the 80s, we had the army. So he was in the military, and he came home, and I thought, oh, in this uniform, so I'm not the grown-up anymore. He's taken over that role from me. Until one dreadful night, I realized how much he hated me for taking their mom away. And he took my choice away. And the abuse went on for probably 4 years, until I had the courage to...
How old were you?
11.
Oh, yeah.
I was 11 at the time, and I remember going through school how difficult it was for me because I was an early developer. And I thought that was because I did what I was not supposed to do, and people are now going to see what I did.
So you're wearing on the outside what is actually in the inside. And
absolutely.
okay.
So I started wearing clothes that were too big for me because I didn't want people to see that, these things are growing and I did something very wrong. And then I was asked the question once, why did you not talk about it? Well, I was born with a skill that my mom lost her kids because of me. And what if I say something now? She's going to lose him again. What then? And so I didn't say anything for years. And until that one day I said to him, if you're not going to stop, I'm going to have to tell Mom and Dad about this. And then it stopped. I remember even on his wedding night, when he got married, he abused me that very same night. So it was very difficult, and that's why I'm here today to say, we make choices, and the choices we make is deliberate choices. So we can go on being the victim for as long as we want. I think sometimes it gets you get into a comfort zone, being a victim, and it's very hard to get out of that. So then life went on, and then I made a couple of very wrong choices. I married my son's dad, which was a wonderful man. Wonderful. I have to say that. So the reason our marriage didn't work was because of what happened to me. And he just couldn't understand what it was about. Even if I tell him what I went through, he did not understand it. So in the end, our marriage didn't work. And then I went to an abusive relationship, and it took me 14 years to get out of that.
And you knew straight away that it was an abusive relationship, but
yes,
you make excuses.
You make excuses, because I think sometimes you choose a life partner because of your dad, and my dad was very abusive, but my second husband was emotionally abusive more than physically abusive. So you create drama because that's how you grew up. My dad was very abusive towards my mum. My mum was a nurse. So just imagine. Which
is actually, if you think about a nurse, it's quite a profession that needs a strong personality, if you think about it.
Absolutely. And the embarrassment, I think today, if I look back, how many times she was admitted to hospital, walking into a door, fell down the stairs, all those excuses. And then she has to her colleagues, explain to them, tell them all these wonderful lies about what actually had happened. So she did not have a nice life. My mom had a very difficult life right until the end. My dad was very abusive towards her. Luckily, I got out of that. And then my mentor Gert came into my life. I started working in the insurance industry, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And while he was fighting that, we were taking over a very large corporate company, and I knew nothing about corporate, nothing.
How old were you at that stage?
I was in my 30s.
Okay. 23.
So we went to see a large transport company, and I said to him, he was going through chemo and he wasn't doing too well at that stage. And I said to him, Abachat, you better not die on me now. I can't do this on my own. And he said to me, okay, hang on, wait, look back. So I looked back, I saw nothing. I said, what do you mean look back? He said, no, look again. What do you see? So I looked back, didn't see anything. I said, we just went over one of those hobble keys.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. And I'm like, really? He says, Marna, I promise you next year, this time, what you're going through now is going to feel like that little hobble key at the back. And I took that to heart that day. And even though it didn't really become that easy for me, and then every time I go through a hard time, I just think, okay, next year this time, it's going to be that hobble key at the back. So I've been taking that to heart for a very long time. So then I started my own business 12 years ago, and by telling my story, I want to tell people there's hope. I'm running a short-term insurance brokerage for 12 years, successful, and during that time, every time something bad or difficult happens, I just remember her saying, Marna, next time this year, it's going to be that horrible. So in the first couple of months after I started my business, my husband fell ill. And we were married 8 years, wonderful, wonderful husband. And he was diagnosed with lung fibrosis, very hard to go through. So I had to take care of him and run a business and get all these balls and keep them in the air. It wasn't easy. But that kept me going, because I knew next year, this time, what I'm going through now is just going to be that horrible. And that's true. Then my dad passed away. In a period of 10 months, my dad passed away, and then my mum passed away, and then my husband and my dad passed away a month and 4 days apart. And then my brother passed away at 49.
The brother that
the baby. No, the baby. The baby. The baby.
So not your half brother, but
no, but my baby.
Yeah.
My baby brother. I'm always saying I feel like I lost a child because I brought him up. So it was a difficult time, and I just think we need to believe in ourselves, and God made me believe that everything in life is a choice. Every time you make a choice, there's two things that can happen. Either a good thing is going to happen or a bad thing is going to happen, and you just have to live with the choices you make and make changes accordingly. So I just got that belief back in my life. The first thing I had to do in my process of healing was to find out who I am. Who is Marna? It's a very difficult question. Go sit down for a moment and think, who am I? What do I like? What don't I like? And I think sometimes what you don't like is even more important than what you do like. It's a harder question to answer. What don't you like?
Because as I said earlier when we spoke a bit earlier today, and I said to you, I've got this one lady, absolutely awesome, that I interviewed last year, and she said after her divorce, she wanted to go and buy bedding. She said she walked into the shop and she didn't know what colour she wanted. Because
Absolutely.
She was always told what colour, and she said she had a meltdown right there in the shopping centre, had to go away and think about what colours do I like.
So, someone asked me a question one day is, what kind of flower do you like? And I thought, I always thought orange roses. I don't like orange roses, but that's what was given to me always. So you kind of think, I like orange roses. I don't like orange, I like sunflowers. and I like lilies, and I like, and my most favorite flower is the protea. I never knew that. I had to find that out for myself, and a whole new world opened to me the moment I decided, you know what, I'm going forward. And one thing I also say to people is, if you think you're not getting anywhere, stand still for a moment, just for a moment, and look back to where you came from, and just think, wow, I came from nothing, and this is where I am now. And don't ever think you've made it. Because every time you reach the goal, there's another goal, and there's another goal. And don't get too relaxed, but just sometimes stand back and look back and think, okay, this is where I came from, and this is where I'm going, and this is where I am today.
Tell me, what happened to your abuser?
Well, he's in old age home at the moment. He's almost blind, he can't see. After I left him, he didn't have a very great life afterwards, which is sad. I think, what we as women have the biggest mistake is we think we can fix people. We can't. Because they have to make the choice to fix themselves.
Absolutely.
You can't fix anyone. Fix yourself. You can fix yourself because you've got that choice. You can't make choices on their behalf. And I think maybe that is why a lot of us stay so long in an abusive relationship, because you think you can fix someone. Not everybody is fixable.
You do motivational speaking.
Yes, I do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The first one I did was Wise Woman Rising, which was absolutely amazing. I was so nervous and I didn't think, oh, can I do this? I mean, sharing what happened to you so many years ago. It's very hard to talk about. And I remember there were about 50 people there, and there was only one man in the audience. And he actually made me decide that I need to talk about it. And then I left it for a while, but what he had said to me was, we sometimes think that trauma is only reserved for women, and it's not.
Absolutely
It's not. So they need to hear our stories as well. And then version U.2, Andrew van Zyl is busy writing a book, and we were one evening and he shared, chapters of the book with us, and then we all can, contribute to his story. And Glenn was there. He's from a radio station, and the comments I made, he actually came to me afterwards and said, before you go, I just need to tell you something. And I said, yes. And he said, I just got a message from God right now, and he said to me that I need to tell you need to tell your story. You need to tell people that there's hope. And I still thought, do I really want to do this? And then I did another talk for cherishes, and I had so many phone calls of abused women that said, I don't know how to get out of this, can you help me? So if I can just plant the seed of hope for one person at a time, I think the world will be so much a better place.
You talked about your own children, you've got grandchildren.
Yes.
Did you make a conscious decision to how you brought your children up? Make it different from the way you grew up?
Yes, I did. I think sometimes we compensate for what we went through, so I made that mistake. Well, I've got 3 children. I gave birth to one. The other 2 children, Riana and Anri, and my son is Hannes also. And
Hannes is our cameraman, which we talk about often, especially during the live shows.
So I gave birth to him. He's 34 now, and then the 3 grandchildren is from my late husband's children, which they are my own. Anri works for me. I think we've been working together for about 14 years. Yeah. So I have a very good bond with all my children, and I've just inherited a 14-year-old. So,
good luck.
So yeah, teenager again. I've never thought I would go through that again. So yeah, you learn through mistakes, and sometimes you overcompensate a bit for what you've gone through. But I try to teach my child the same thing, that life is about choices. You can either say yes or you can say no, and whatever the consequences of your choice, you've got to deal with that. And I did try and fix, but yeah, one shouldn't overcompensate.
So your relationship with your mom and dad before they died, did it improve? Or because
not with my dad, no, not with my dad. My father apologized on his deathbed. I was sat next to him probably for a month, every single day, holding his hand.
It's difficult.
It was hard. The one thing he wanted me to do all over and over again was to sing Amazing Grace to him. I'll never forget that. And
do you have a good voice?
No.
Nobody would love that.
No. Sometimes you could hear, the nurses walking past and listening, Amazing Grace again. I think they must think, oh goodness, can this woman just stop? But the moment I stop, he would ask me again. But one thing I am glad is that my dad in the end gave his heart to Jesus. So I'm grateful for that. Forgiveness for me is still a little problem there. Complete forgiveness. And also one thing, what I learned about forgiveness is you don't forgive once. It is an everyday hard work thing you have to do, and you might have to forgive someone every single day of your life for the rest of your life. And the second difficult thing is to forgive someone without an apology. Don't expect an apology, because you're not forgiving for that person. you are forgiving for yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's the money. It's
difficult.
It's difficult. Forgiveness is it's the hardest thing in life, I think. But also, it's a choice. You have to make the choice. It's not something that's just going to happen. You have to make that choice. I won, I think it was 2022, the South African Council for Businesswomen, the Businesswoman of the Year for Centurion, and I was also the ambassador for that year. And
amazing organisation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even if it's just to correct your crown a bit, you know.
And you meet fantastic women.
Absolutely. I've met amazing women through the journey. So my half brother was on holiday at the time, and we went down to Moscow. I have to tell you the story. I remember.
Because I always have the awards down somewhere there.
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
So it was amazing. It was really an amazing journey. And then when I got my own brother phoned when he says, my half brother is saying maybe I should go and say hello to him. And I thought, I don't know. But anyway, so I did. Also a choice I made because it was part of my growth. And I wanted to put it in his face, you know. And
that's your right.
Yes, so I phoned him and he said he's there alone, just show you how God works. And I sat next to him and I told him why I'm here, and he said, I'm so proud of you. And I said to him, not bad for what you put me through. And he was quiet for a moment, and I took my bag and I walked out. And I made a conscious decision there and then, I don't ever have to see you again, but I forgive you. And that was maybe the most amazing thing that happened in my life, was to say, I can leave you behind now.
Do you think he ever thought that what he did was wrong, or just didn't care?
I don't think he cared. I think at the time, he was punishing me. And I think in his mind, right or wrong, I think he thought I deserved that, which I didn't.
No.
I was just born.
Exactly.
It wasn't my choice.
So tell me, if you have a message for other women, because you become such a strong businesswoman, from where you came, what would your message be for the ladies during the 16 days of action?
2 things. Talk about your experience. Second thing is be selective to who you talk to. You can't trust everybody, and not everybody's your friend.
Absolutely.
And then a third thing, also get help. Talk to a professional. And also, if you have a friend in need, listen. You don't have to give advice or. So if you're on that side of the table, just listen. Listen to our stories and make the right choice.
Thank you very much, Marna, and I'm sure we'll see each other in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
I'm not a victim, a girl on fire. I'll stand my ground, girl on fire. I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. Countless hours on the range, I am responsibly armed. I am your equal. I've empowered myself, I have practiced and trained. Fear won't control me. With my sisters in arms, we will make ourselves heard. We'll stand together. I'm a girl on fire. I'm not a victim, a girl on fire. I'll stand my ground, girl on fire. I've made a choice, I stand proud. I'm a girl on fire. We're girls on fire. We're not victims, we're girls on fire. We'll stand our ground, girls on fire. We've made a